Did anybody show up that first day?
I was there. I was so nervous. I saw this car parking and I'm like, oh my gosh. So there's these two couples get down, no? So they get in the taqueria and there were these four winter Texans. And I was like, oh my gosh, they came into the taqueria.
Were those the first customers?
Yes, they were the first
The
customers.
very first
The
ones.
very first customers.
All right, guys. Well, good afternoon, or I usually say good morning, so I'll say good morning again. Good morning, everyone. Today is another day on the Real Grande podcast, and it's a fun one, another fun one, because we're spending some time with Miss Roxana Trevino, owner of Nana's Taqueria out in Weslaco. So thanks for being here with us.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. I wanted to contact you because, well, okay, we're talking about Nana's Taqueria in Weslaco, right? And you guys have done a really good job of marketing and promoting the restaurant, the brand, the product that is Nana's Taqueria. Because I mean, pretty much a lot of people have heard about it or have seen it, or like commercials, or like the colorful the atmosphere, and like the mariachis playing and stuff like that. So I was thinking, like, man, okay, a lot of us have heard of the taqueria, but a lot of us have not gotten to meet, the masterminds, the brains behind
Taqueria.
Nana's Taqueria. So that leads me to my first question, and something that I usually does come up here and there, but we just mentioned Roxana Trevino is your name. Is Nana short for your name, or where did that come from?
No, Nana's actually, we have four daughters, and my youngest one, her name is Mariana. So when we started at the taqueria, she couldn't say her name Mariana. She would say that her name was Nana. That's the way we named it. Okay, I said when we're looking for a name, I said, you know what, we're gonna name it Nana.
She would say her own name like that, like she was Nana. That was her own name.
She was Nana. She would say she was Nana instead of Mariana.
Yeah, like hi, I'm Nana.
So that's why we named it Nana's Taqueria.
Is she still Nana to this day?
Yeah, she's still Nana. Well, now she's Mariana. She's now 16, so she's like Mariana.
Oh, okay.
Now she's sometimes she's kind of shy to say that she's the Nana.
Like, because now there's a whole restaurant.
Yes.
I hear
but
that.
yes, now I think as she's growing up, now she's getting like, okay, I'm proud of Nana. So
yeah, that's all because it was her idea. She made it.
No, it was not her idea. She was two. It was actually my idea. And but growing up, she didn't know she was two.
Yeah.
And I don't know, after looking for a name, we figured out that was a good name. So
okay. So what year was this?
We're gonna be 15 years. That's 2010.
Oh, okay.
2010.
Okay, so man, and has it been a pretty fast 15 years?
It's been a journey. It's been a lot of hours of work. It's been hard work. Let me tell you the story, how we are very, how our taqueria is like very colorful, and where all of this come from. I feel that is before having the taqueria, we used to live in No Progreso, Mexico.
Okay.
I was raised there in Progreso. I was raised behind the counter of a pottery shop. My dad was the first person in Progreso that sold pottery.
Wow.
So I was the first. I was grown there, and then as I graduated, I worked with them in a pottery shop, and in their stores. They have big stores. I got married, and we started a pottery store. My husband and I, a small one, and that was our life. Always like visiting places in Mexico where they had artisans doing something like textiles, like pots, like so. I always fell in love with all of that, colors and clay and everything, about Mexican culture and Mexican arts and crafts.
Yeah,
it's always been in my life, and then in my husband and me together. And we grew up, our family there in Progreso. Our three daughters grew up there in a store too, behind a counter.
Oh, yeah.
So
okay. Family business.
It's a family business. They would help cleaning like the stuff. They would be running around in the store. They would go with us to do the shopping in south of Mexico. My husband would travel a lot. And so we got to meet a lot of beautiful people, a lot of craftsmen. And we had a very successful business. We were doing like really good.
In pottery?
In the pottery business,
Wow.
we expanded our store a lot. We had a big, huge store until I think we had it like for 15 years. We grew it up. It was a beautiful store. We're in Progreso, like 5 blocks down, and then one to the back. We were in a plaza.
Uh-huh.
But then violence hit in Progreso.
Oh.
And we were very affected with it because, of course, I remember that time, a lot of the people stopped going to Progreso. And it was just 2 years that it was just like incredible. I mean, that's when those like calls started, calling business, like asking for money, that. And we were so affected because we were 4 blocks down and then one to the back. So from having a great business, a very successful business, we went to having like no business. So
Fast.
we had a family to feed. We were trying to figure out our safety too. And we decided to move to Weslaco. We had previously bought a house because, like I told you, we're doing really good in our businesses. We had a small house in Weslaco. So my husband said, you know what, it's time for us to move. So we moved to Weslaco. And I don't know, those 2 years, I think a lot of the businesses from the 3rd block down in Progreso, they closed. Even my brother had a restaurant and he had to close. My parents had to close their businesses. So we went out like...
All in that same area?
All in that same area. Wow. So anyway, we moved to Weslaco. We moved to our house. Meanwhile, we were figuring out what to do. Okay, what should we do? My husband found a job. It wasn't enough. And then we did a bad investment that didn't help. And one day I was passing through the property that Nana's is right now, Nana's. And it had a sign for sale. And I told Alfredo, I want this property.
Oh,
he said, what? I want it. So I couldn't sleep that night. I said, I want it. Please buy it for me. I want to do a pottery shop here. That was my dream, to have a pottery shop here. So I felt next time I woke up and I said, Alfredo, did you call them in that we want to buy the property? Okay, to make the long story, we ended up buying the property and we bought it. And then the owner said, okay, the house is no good. I'm selling the property because it's a business property, but the house is in very bad condition. And then it had a little house on the back that was like worse. It was like bad. Anyway, as we were figuring out our lives and, trying to raise our girls, we had to sell our beautiful new house and we moved into that house. So we couldn't do a pottery shop anymore because the necessity was, okay, we don't have much money coming in and a lot of spending. So my husband started another job in Reynosa. We still couldn't like make it until finally, our property is in the corner and it's in a very busy street. And then across the street there was a seed company. So there was a lot of people there. So we had potential to do something, but we were living there. We couldn't move out of there because we didn't afford nothing else but being there. So after figuring it out what to do, my husband, he's a really good cook. I mean, he is the master of the grill. Yeah. And he would always grill meat outside and grill chicken outside of... And as we were figuring out what to do, they say, okay, you know what? We need to do something. We started spending, living on our savings, which was hard. So we went broke. And then it got to the point that we started spending and using our credit cards. We had 5 credit cards with no debt, and we ended up using them for even buying groceries. So we went broke. It was bad. Like from being up here, we went to have nothing but debts.
And how long did that take for that transition, if you remember?
I think it took like 5 years, 4 years, 3 years. I really don't remember. I have a timeline right here.
Yeah, but that's fast.
I know it was it was crazy. Well, of course, we didn't have this big savings, but I mean, we had savings. We
Yeah,
had a new
yeah.
house that we didn't owe, and all of this. Um, so it was very hard. And as we were talking, you say we need to do something. You know what? Let's do a taqueria.
Because your husband could cook.
I know my husband could cook. We didn't know anything about
He had
restaurants.
never done it before.
No, we had never done it before. I didn't have any idea what a restaurant or a taqueria, how to handle it, how to manage it, like not at all. So my husband said, "Okay, we have potential. You know, the pioneer people here, they always come when I'm grilling meat, thinking that I was selling, and
Yeah.
you know, all this started. And he said, "Okay, let's start." So we started fixing a little like shed on the back. It was. My husband started working on it, like trying to, you know, figure it out what to do out in the kitchen. We went through the whole deal of getting all our permits and everything on credit card. Everything on credit card. It was crazy.
Wow.
And then meanwhile, doing our payments. I don't know how they did it. But then we said, okay, let's go to the bank. Maybe we can get a loan. That's when ignorant me, okay, the banks, they don't lend you money if you don't have money. I was so mad because I would tell my husband, why are they not lending us money? I mean, we have all our payments like up to date. But then I realized like I was ignorant, like a bank is a business. So forget about the bank. We just kept going. And as we were like building it, we started off, you know, because starting a business with money or with a budget is different than starting a business with no budget, with debts, like you were talking about, big debts. So it was our last resource.
Had you thought of anything else first, or you just went, let's start cook? Because he knew how to cook.
Yes. It just clicked out. And then I said, you know what? We're going to sell tacos and lunches, because that was my home time, like food, the lunches. I grew up with lunches. The first lonchero, which is a street food in Progreso, was there in the corner of my house.
Wow.
So I grew up with that. And I felt it's from Rio Bravo. So I said lunches. They said, yeah, we're going to have lunches and we're going to have tacos. That was our menu. So we started kind of like getting everything together. And then my brother gave me this hunting stove with two flames. And then he gave me a refrigerator. And then family helped me whatever they could, because they were going to the same struggles. So there was no way for us to ask for help, my parents or my brother they were going to the same struggles.
Because they had stores there too, right?
Yes,
in
they
Progreso.
had stores there too.
Yeah, so everyone was on the same boat.
Yeah, we were all in the same boat. It was crazy.
Wow.
So we as everything was used there, I found a lot of stuff, in used garage and stuff. And so, and a lot of people were given, a lot of things, some things were like given to us. So finally we did an 8 table seating place with our kitchen. It was super cute. It was all decorated Mexican, all colorful and just what we always, what's on our heart, our culture.
Yeah, just
we
you.
had to show our culture.
It was just you.
That's the way it all started. I did my menu was just taco, lunches, quesadillas. I still have it. It's just like a very simple menu.
Yeah.
So we fixed it real cute and everything, and we're all ready. I think that week we opened. My husband puts a sign up there that says "Now open."
Just like that.
Just like that. Now open. He says, "Okay, today we're gonna open. Get ready." In the front, I was ready with my, to get the orders. And I had kind of figured out everything out. And then we opened. So we had 2 shifts, one in the morning from 11 to 4. One someone would help me, and then one in the afternoon. And then in the afternoon, sometimes I would be by myself, and I could handle it. It was fine. So it was an 8-table dining area, 1 bed, 1 restroom, and then the kitchen like right here on the back. So I had a window that I would go like, hey, the orders, and they just...
Did anybody show up that first day?
I was there. I was so nervous. Like my stomach was crazy nervous. You know what? When you feel those nerves in your stomach.
Yeah. On day 1. Yeah.
It was. I couldn't sleep that night. I'm pretty sure my husband couldn't sleep. So as I was looking out the window, I saw this car parking, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So there's these 2 couples get down, So they get in the taqueria, and they were these 4 Winter Texans.
Oh,
And I was like, oh my gosh, they came into the taqueria.
were those the first customers?
Yes, they were the first
The
customers.
very first
The
ones.
very first customers. So we were so excited. We didn't know what to do with them. Like, hi, how are you? Like we didn't know what to add. So we gave them the menu, and then the lady looks at me, honey, what's a lonche? And I'm like, really? So we started explaining what a lonche was. They tried it, and since lonches have original have ground beef, we know
Yeah.
Texans love ground beef. So
It was easy. Yeah.
yes, so they loved them, and then another table came in, and then another one, and it was fine. It was okay. We were like kind of like, okay, fine, people are coming.
Yeah.
So the days go, more people started coming in, and more, and it got to the point that lunchtime we were packed every day. Every day it was crazy. We were just running back and forward, trying to figure out things. We would run out of beans, run out of meat. My husband would prep all night for the next day. It was just, and then between that, it was taking care of my girls behind, the house was right there. Like the door was right there. So taking care of my kids, and they were going through high school, middle school. So taking them to school, it was just like long, long hours of work.
But this was at the very beginning.
It
Like
was
it got
at the
packed.
beginning.
So what would you attribute that? Well, because I mean, it's not every day like that you're gonna start seeing like the traffic pick up like that. Like what was it? Like why were people showing up? What do you think?
Well, we had this product that was lunches, and a lot of people will go to Progreso to eat lunches. But now we had them here in the Valley. So we're kind of like the first restaurant to have them in the Valley. In Mexico, in Progreso, it's literally like a street food.
Everywhere.
It's a street food. Before, now they have it in restaurants.
You know what? Let's pause there. Tell us what a lonche is, because I mean, maybe some of our listeners, like the one talking right now, has never had one.
Right.
So tell us what a lonche is.
A lonche, it's a street food from Progreso. It was invented there. It's a bolillo, a very small bolillo. I mean, they do it small, and then they fry it, and inside it's got ground beef, and then you put cabbage, tomato, cilantro, and avocado, and then you top it out with the green salsa, and that's the original one. So a lot of people were excited about that, and then they loved our tacos too. A lot of people were coming for the tacos. I don't know. I think it was word to people from the factory started coming in. So and it was 8 tables, so you can fill up 8 tables like really quick. But to us it was like, oh my gosh, it was crowded every day, packed every day, and then one after the other, one after the other one. It was just a very hard work. It was just working 2 shifts a day, every single day. It was like nonstop, and at the same time taking care of my girls. It was a blessing. I mean, since the beginning, I mean, just to have like you said, it's hard. It's not easy to start a business and then have people the next day. It's especially there was no social media for us. We didn't have social media. It was just a little sign that says now open. I guess we're in a busy corner, and people were expecting what we were doing. Meanwhile, we were building it.
Yeah.
But anyway, we had a lot of people, and then people kept coming back because they liked it, and that's the starts of Nana. Like we were living the restaurant life at its full. I mean, my husband and I and my family on the back. Sometimes I would get so busy that I would go to the back. Girls, come and help. So they would run to the taqueria and started helping, like cleaning tables or getting orders. And so it was just like, it was a lot of hard work, lot of hard work. And at the same time, we were trying to pay all our debts. Thank God.
Yeah.
It took us a long time because it's not easy. We were like, estábamos bien quebrados. Pero bueno, la verdad que Dios nos bendijo y salimos adelante. And then 5 years after, because by 5 years, okay, my house was already like full of things from the taqueria, from supplies.
Yeah.
So my daughters were kind of tired, and Mom, we can help you. We didn't have privacy. That house was right there. So finally, my daughter, one of the daughters said, you know what? We need to move. We need to go Of course, we rented a house because we didn't have money to buy a house, but we rented a house. We moved out of Nanas, and then our expansion started. We expanded to the back. Now we could feed more people. It was very successful. People loved it, and of course, my husband did this beautiful like architecture. Of
Your
course,
husband did that?
Mexican. My husband, and then my daughter. She was going studying like architecture, so she
Oh.
contributed some. And then my husband, he's very creative too. So between that and then my daughter helping out with the menu, trying to add more things because now the place was bigger, so the people would ask for
Oh.
more things. If you
Yeah.
sit down, you didn't feel like taqueria now. It feel like a restaurant. So they would ask, "Hey, do you have enchiladas? Do you have like?" So
They're asking
I was
for
like,
dishes, like,
yes, they were
yeah.
asking for dishes. So we started to add it more to our menu. We redid our menu. We started, adding more things to it. People liked it, and we have had like beautiful customers that had been supported us since day one. Always people coming back, and
Yeah.
and of course during these 15 years we had a lot of up and downs. We went through a lot of struggles too. We then we got featured in Texas Monthly for the first time, which was like, wow. I was like, wow, going to Barnes and Nobles to buy the magazine because I was featured there. We're
Oh,
like, oh my
yeah.
gosh, that felt good. And we that crazy storm in the valley that
Oh,
happened. So
yeah.
we got flooded.
Oh, because you're in Weslaco.
Yes, we
Yeah.
flooded. Like, estábamos en mi casa, mi esposo y yo.
Uh-huh.
And then one of our workers called us, patrón, la taquería está inundada. And we were like, what? So we looked at the cameras, because now we had cameras. Look at the cameras, and everything was underwater. Like, chairs were floating everywhere. Like,
Wow.
I was like, oh my gosh. Anyway, my husband, like, thank God we were able to go, and it dried. It pretty went down like in 5 days, and we were able to dry a lot of things. We had to throw away a lot of things though in the kitchen, and or like equipment went down. And thank God we had like the companies, like the Coca-Cola company, step in, and
yeah.
they brought everything new. So
Oh, yeah?
yeah. So they're
Okay.
like they were a big support to us.
That
They were
didn't
like,
hurt. Yeah.
yes.
That's
They were like,
awesome.
oh wow, thank you. And
Wow.
and then other companies stepped in and helped us out. So we
After
started
the
again
flood?
after the flood. So in a week we were already like working. We were already like open. Yes,
Wow.
our
Okay.
team showed up, whoever showed up, and we fixed everything. We dried everything as however we could. We
Yeah.
special dryers, and we were able to start in a week. So it's been a journey. It hasn't been easy, but it has been very ha sido muy bonito. We have been able to express our culture through nanas, what we like, what we love. We added a gift shop outside.
I noticed that.
Yes,
Yeah.
so we want people to have like the whole experience, not only the food and the place, but also the food. We expanded our patio. We started doing like mariachi concerts and trio concerts, and we started celebrating every single cultural event from Mexico, like Dia de los Muertos, like posadas navideñas. We would explain to people what a posada was, and make a posada, and to show people culture. And because I feel that culture, it's very, with the Mexican culture, the architecture and the food, they're so integrated. You know what I mean? They're like,
that's true.
they're connected. You just think about it, like Dia de los Muertos has their own bread. Like El 16 de Septiembre has their own dish with the chiles en nogada, and it has a story. And they're, so everything is connected. So
Yeah, to food.
yes, so people started having like the whole experience in nanas, and we love that. we
It's
love
a culture
that.
experience.
Yes, it's a culture experience. And
That's so cool.
well, as we were growing, then the pandemia hits.
And that was during the time that you were still growing?
I mean, we had the expansion already. We were doing fine now. We were doing fine. We had our paving made and everything. And then pandemic hits. Well, we were not a food-to-go restaurant. We were like, we were dining. My daughter stepped in She had finished her master's, so working on her master when the pandemic hit and she was there home. So she started helping me a lot. We did paquetes to go, like, we figure out our to go area, our curbside area. We did all the strategy on how we were gonna work. We were working so hard so we wouldn't shut down, so we wouldn't close.
Yeah.
And then so our workers also, so we could keep our stuff.
Oh, true.
So we kept all our stuff. We didn't go, we didn't
Let go of it.
let go no one.
Yeah.
We brainstormed what to do. We came out with this paquetes one night. I was like, okay.
Paquetes?
Yeah, paquetes, like family packs.
Oh, okay.
I was leaving one night because, I mean, when you're in a restaurant life, you have to be creative. You have to. And my
So you were
daughter
in
and
bed
me,
thinking about it?
yeah, my daughter and me and my husband were realized thinking what to do. And I was like, you know what? Family pack. I'm a paquetes in a pizza box. So I were like, okay, packets in a pizza box. And I told my daughter, you know what? We're going to sell like the family packs in a pizza box. I just couldn't sleep because I was, oh my gosh, it's exciting.
Idea.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
exciting
that's
because
a
the
good
idea.
feeling. Yeah.
Anyway, we figured out some paquetes. We were selling like very cheap food, like $20 for a packet, like every day, and every day was a different thing. Like lunch was lunch lunes, and then Tuesday was like tortas, and tacos.
Yeah.
And then we have like, I don't know if it was 3 tortas in the box for $20 with all the sides and
your chips and everything. Yeah.
anything to keep those going. And we would see the support in a lot of our customers. A lot of our customers were driving, hi, we're here to support, just sticking the food to go. So our customers have always been like, a lot of our customers, in fact, that start as customers now are friends, because I mean, we're always there.
So you get to actually know them. Oh, because you're interacting with it.
Yes.
You're walking around and stuff.
Yes.
In the patio.
Yeah, so they were there like, here, we're to support, they couldn't get down, and
Yeah.
we were going through all those.
Such an emotional time, right?
Yes,
just
it
seeing
was,
them from a distance.
Yes, it was nice to see the support. It was very. It was, I know to everybody in their own way. COVID. It was bad. It was so going through COVID. Then
Did you ever have to shut down for a period of time?
No, we didn't shut down. Never.
At all?
Never.
Wow.
We just closed because,
Yeah.
you can only operate curbside or orders to go. Mm-hmm. So we also did, because they allowed us not to sell alcohol, to go.
Yeah, I remember that.
Remember that?
Yeah, Chili's was doing that.
Yeah, so one day I was at Taqueria, and then I found a stimulus check, like a stimulus envelope. It said a stimulus check or something. And I said to my daughter, you know what? Let's do this. Let's stimulus pack. And she said, the stimulus pack, great. So we did a family pack of food with some beer, and we put the stimulus and I don't know. You just had to be creative to.
That was fun then.
Yeah. I mean, not fun, but you had to go through the struggles and you had to survive. So.
Oh, okay, I get you. Creative to
keep going and to sell. To attract people, so to sell. And
well, the beer helped, right?
Yeah, the beer helped
to attract people.
Yes, the beer helped. So as we were going through that, one thing that made me step back and get out of the taqueria for a year was that I was diagnosed with cancer that year. I'm sorry. During the pandemic, I remember it was my birthday, and I had done several, previously exams. So I went to that day because it was my birthday. So my girls were there from college. And my husband was there. He was grilling meat on the patio. We don't have visitors because of COVID. But so I went to the doctor. I went to do this exam that morning. And as I saw the face of the girl that was doing me the sonogram, I knew something was wrong. And she told me, okay, Ms. Trevino, thank you so much. I'm going to let your doctor know, and we'll call you. They'll probably call you in the next week or something. As soon as I got to the house, the doctor called me to go to her office. So I didn't tell the girls or my husband. I just got out and went to the doctor, and she told me, you have cancer, without telling me you have cancer. They cannot diagnose you until they do like a biopsy and all that.
Mm-hmm.
She told me they didn't look right, but like anyway, so I went home and I just couldn't tell my family they were celebrating my birthday. So I just kept it to myself. I
That
just
same
pretended
day.
like, yeah, the same day I was just pretending like nothing happened. And then at night I told my husband, and then from there, like a nightmare started, because when you're diagnosed with cancer, you feel like you're gonna die the next day, especially when no one in your family has gone through that, and or you haven't lived that with someone else. Well, you feel like, okay, I'm gonna die tomorrow. That's the way I felt. And it was hard too, because it was hard to find a doctor. You know how it was fine to find an appointment. I didn't have insurance, and it was just a month and a half of me not sleeping, thinking, okay, I have it. Because when they diagnose you, they don't know how bad it is. They don't know how far it is. And anyway, I had finally bought a private insurance, and I was able to go to MD Anderson when they just barely opened. So I started my treatments. My cancer was already in my lymph nodes, so I had to go to chemotherapy. I have to go through surgery. I have to go to radiation, which was very hard on me, because I had a lymph node under my rib that was infected, and they radiated. I was on an open wound for a long time. I stayed home because I couldn't get COVID, because if I would get COVID, I would stop my treatments, and they would put them on pause. And then in MD Anderson, they were very strict. I was just by myself, because my husband has to stay, not even in the entrance. They had to stay outside. No one was allowed inside.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I was very careful not to get COVID, because I wanted to get done with all my treatments. I didn't want to stop. And my husband was my big support. He was there with me all the time. Even though he was outside, he was there with me all the time. My daughters, that's what kept me going.
The
All our
family.
dreams are our hard work. Like, I had to fight that. Thank God I went through the whole thing. It was almost a year stepping out on Nanas. It was hard for me stepping out on Nanas. At the beginning, I didn't want no one to know. I told my husband, you know what? No one has to know this. Like, please don't let anyone know. This is, I don't know. I just don't know when to know. Especially, it was very hard for me to tell my mom. How can a daughter tell, a mom that you have cancer? Like, I mean, our kids are, um, anyway, my husband had to tell our team, because I wasn't there at Nana's. And then
Mm.
they were asking, where's the patrona? Like, where is she? Why she hasn't come? So he told them what was going on. And next time I know, they're outside my house, all of them. And then my daughter comes, Mom, they're outside. They want to say hi to you. And I'm like, who? And said, our team from Nana's. So they're all outside with these shirts that saying we're fighting with you together, and all
Oh.
these flowers. And I was like, it was just so beautiful. My daughter put it in a video, and he said, Mom, can I please share this in Facebook? And I said, no, mijita, please don't. No, please don't. I don't want, please, Mom, let me share it. Next time I knew, I was ¿cómo se llama? En Univision. Because
Oh wow.
Univision saw the story, in our social media, and they wanted to feature it, because it was a really nice, support from the staff.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, okay, me that didn't want no one to know, now I'm in Univision. I'm like, Roxy, this is what you provoked. This is what social media does.
Yeah, yeah. From
And
nobody knowing you're under
yeah,
the.
anyway, I accepted it, and I said, okay, if this is going to help, someone, telling my story is going to help someone, so they can get awareness and check themselves. And so I started doing things to, to help people that was going through the same thing as me,
Support. Yeah.
to support. I receive a lot. A lot of my customers would message us through Facebook. Like, some customers that I wouldn't even like know or anything, they would like drop off like little like prayers and things at the taqueria for me. And like, I don't know, I got so many like, like los cuadritos and a lot of like beautiful things, flowers.
Mm-hmm.
So it was so nice to get all that support from the community and from my customers at Nanas. I was cancer free in a year after I went through all of it, and I ring the bell, thank God. And
Congratulations.
yes, thank you. It's not the same when you go through that. I mean, your health is not the same, and you always have the fear. Of course, you have to trust God, but you always have the fear because they tell you, okay, it can come back. You know how cancer. Well, I don't know. You don't know. I hope you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to go through that. Anyway, so I came back to work. I'm back to Nanas now. We have been featured, in different like shows. Like I told you, that has been like something we don't ask for, but it just comes.
to you.
I don't know why, but it just comes to you. Like we've been in Texas Monthly like 3 times, and Texas Highways. We are one of the favorite spots for bird watchers. That's what they tell me. They have told me, "Did you know that you're one of our favorites on our pages?" Because they have their own like pages.
For the winter Texans and the birding people.
Yeah, all the birding. No, there's a lot of young people too.
Yeah,
that bird watch.
Yeah, and they like to go to Nanas.
Yeah, they go to Nanas. They like to sit on the patio, and they're there with these binoculars looking everywhere because we have trees outside. And,
to do birding there.
I mean, they eat there, but at the same time with their like, or their cameras or no, they eat there. They're it's like they're one of their stops.
Oh wow.
One of their stops, and part of our mural outside, it's because of the birds, because the mural that we have.
What's the mural about?
It's anatomy mural. It's inspired by a textile, and this community in Hidalgo makes those textiles because they live in the forest, and ellos se inspiran. They get inspired by nature, so that's why it's all this beautiful, colorful, alike birds. And in fact, I think we were the first restaurant with the mural. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think so.
In the patio, or where?
The patio, the big mural that's there.
Okay.
I think so. I don't know because
we'll say that. We'll say it. Yeah.
No, because now it's kind of like a must that you need to have like a mural or something in a restaurant in your place.
Or like a place to take a picture. Or something.
Yes,
but you just did it because of the culture, right? Like you said.
Yes, it was just my husband's idea, I think. Yeah, to do the mural there, like to copy it from a textile and just do it there. And
so I have a question. So so you did the treatment. Did you say you went back to work after a year, or like within a year?
Yes.
Wow, that's and so since then, did you go back to the 2 shifts, or did you get to step back a little bit, or?
I still was going to working a lot.
After the treatments?
After the treatments, yes. I went back to work. I felt good.
Yeah. That's good. That's good to hear.
Yes. I felt good. Ouch. I mean, you're not the same. You have like bone pains and this and that, because of the medications and stuff, but nothing to keep me home. Your energies are not the same, but I still have energy. All of these years, so many stories, so many beautiful stories, and so many like not very like nice stories. That's something, a restaurant, it has its ups and downs.
Yeah.
Ups and downs.
But people don't see that, though.
Pero no, la gente no ve eso. La verdad hemos sido bendecidos en la taquería. Hemos trabajado mucho, hemos pasado por muchas cosas, pero hemos tenido muchas satisfacciones. Lo que más nos satisface es que la gente tenga una experiencia cultural y gastronómica al mismo tiempo. Entonces, nuestras metas son esas. Y luego nos sentimos muy orgullosos porque a veces va gente vestida para Nanas. Tengo clientas, sí. La vez pasada vino una clienta and she was like, hi. I was like, hi, because a lot of people know me. I mean, I don't know them by name, but I see them at Taqueria, so I would always, say hi.
Yeah.
And she says, you know what? I came and I said, what? I had these Mexican shoes. She had these beautiful hand-painted Mexican shoes for the longest time in my closet. And I told my daughter, you know what? I'm never going to wear this. I'm just going to wear them today and go to Nanas. So I was like, oh, that made me feel good because she wore them to Nanas.
She dressed for that occasion.
Yeah, she dressed for Nanas. And a lot of people during mariachi dressed up like with their Mexican attires, which I'm very happy because I know wearing one of this is supporting one artisan back in Mexico that, does this for a living. So that makes me happy. I'm always wearing. I'm a fan of textiles, of Mexican textiles. I'm always wearing them around Nanas, and when I don't have
That's
one, I
awesome.
feel like I'm missing something. Oh, my waiter tells me, "Patrona, this is not you," and I'm like, "Yeah, just true that me." But ha sido un camino largo, pero de muchas bendiciones.
Yeah.
De finalmente pagamos todas nuestras deudas, gracias a Dios. Pudimos hacerlo. Entonces, sí se puede. Siempre yo les digo a mis hijas, sí se puede. You can do it. Mis horas de trabajo eran incansables. A veces mi pequeño, like my little break was when I would drive to get him from the bus stop. I would like lay back on my seat and I would like rest for 30 minutes and that was my break.
Wow.
It was just go back and work and work and work. It was just long. Every day. And right now we're expanding.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
We are expanding we're expanding. We're making our bar inside.
Okay.
It's going to be beautiful. My husband is like working very hard on it. He's
designing it?
Oh, yeah, he's designing it.
He's having fun?
Yes, he's having fun. He's doing what he likes. And another highlight is that like I think we got featured in Good Morning America.
Did you really?
Yes.
Oh, how did that happen?
It was a grant that we won. You know the Siete Foods family?
Yeah.
Okay, it was given by them. There was this TikTok that was doing this. They were doing this contest, I think in TikTok or I don't know, in their social media.
For Siete?
Yeah, for Siete. They were giving a grant during National Hispanic Heritage Month for a business that has done something, for the community.
Yeah.
And that has a story. And so some people from TikTok tagged us, Nanas, tell your story. Nanas, show them what you are. Or Nanas. And then my daughters, which, are the ones that manage social media, they said, Mom, we should apply. And I'm like, well, if you want to do it. I don't want to go to that. So we applied for the fund. We went through all the interviews and stuff, and then Good Morning America contacted us.
Wow.
So they said that they're going to feature us for National Hispanic Heritage Month, and they were going to fly us to New York.
When was this? When did this happen?
That was
Wow. So they flew you out to New York to be on Good Morning America?
No, this is what happened. That was in 2022.
Oh, okay. Recently?
Yeah, recently. And no, they saw everything because they do a huge research and investigation and ask you so many questions and all that.
Oh, yeah.
They saw the place and they said, you know what? We like it so much. Your story, the place and everything, that we're going to fly over there with. So they flew with their whole, production and everything from New York.
What?
And then it was they contacted several of our customers to bring banners. And since we saw it was kind of big, I said, you know what? I need to have my mariachi, my folklorico there. So when they got there and they were like starting to film, I said, you have like this whole Disney production here for us. We don't have to do anything for you. So they did and there they gave us a surprise that we had the grant from the Siete Family Foods.
Wow, congratulations.
So, yeah, I know.
That's
it was
awesome.
amazing. It was a blessing. We're so thankful to them. They have a beautiful, great story themselves.
Yeah. Their food is amazing. Like their products.
Yeah, their products are amazing. They're doing great. They believed in their product a lot. They worked hard for what they have. I mean, they're big.
Yeah.
They're
They're
huge.
from South Texas también.
Yes, son de Laredo. They're like huge now. They're unstoppable. So I'm very happy with them, and we're just like very thankful
Got
that
a
we're part of
connection
it.
there. Yeah, partnership.
It's a beautiful family, and beautiful family themselves. So we got to meet them and everything. So
so you actually got to know who they are. Like you met them.
Yeah, we met them.
Awesome.
We went through their headquarters, and then
San Antonio, no?
in San Antonio, and then we got to have breakfast with the parents. It's nice. It's a beautiful family.
Cool. I'm like a big fan of that brand. Like
really?
I know it. Yeah, like I really am. I love I always get it like now they have it like at HEB, but it used to be mainly at Sprouts and stuff like that. But,
yeah, now they have a Walmart and HEB.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is good.
Yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
good. I mean, you eat something healthier.
Yeah.
That's why, in Nanas, I think they inspired Nanas to do also healthy options now. So we
Oh,
try to
okay.
have, and we're adding new things to our menu, and some of the
Okay.
options have to be like healthy now that everyone is going for
Yeah,
the healthy side.
including the
Ya
healthy
sé.
aspect.
Sí,
Okay.
pero no, hombre, la gente del valle somos bien comelones.
I know. Yeah.
Somos más los que comemos los comelones. Entonces, right, recently we got more help in our store, more professional help.
Okay.
6 months ago, we hired more professional staff for a manager that has
Nice.
more
Nice.
experience. And in the back also, I still have my same cook since I started. So
Really?
yeah, that's not going to
Wow.
change. If we add things, it's because we're not changing our original lunches
Oh,
or
okay.
tacos. No, that's staying because
Same recipe
that's what
también?
made us. Yeah, same recipe. That's how we started.
So the lunches that the winter Texan couples had that day one that's what I'm gonna get if I go tomorrow. It's
Yeah,
the
you
same.
you
Wow.
you have to get the lunches
Yeah.
progreso style.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yes, and no diet tomorrow.
You're right.
No diet.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's been a journey. It's been a very rewarding
Yeah.
journey. Um, we still, like I told you 6 months ago. So now I could finally, my husband and I stay a Sunday and in the house or a Saturday because
Mm.
before, when you're in the restaurant business, the weekends is when you have to work.
Yeah. That's the biggest
That's the
busiest.
biggest business day. So
Yeah.
you have to be there. So now barely I just feel like I don't have to be there, but that things are gonna be okay.
So you got a day off now.
Yeah, I got a day off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not just a bus ride, 30-minute waiting for
Yes.
the school bus.
Yeah, say no.
That's
Now
good.
I have a little bit more of a break.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
And it's amazing to hear because like we said earlier, people don't see it. Like people don't know what's going on. That couple that
No.
went, those winter Texans, I mean, maybe they didn't even know that it was day one, right? So they're
Right.
going in like, oh, this place is pretty good, but they didn't
Uh-huh.
see that you were like at the store, like, oh my God, what cup, like what spoon, right? All that stuff. And like when people see the product, it looks like everybody has everything like under control. So it makes people feel like, oh man, I could never do that. But when you hear the true story, like of what's actually going on, that's inspiring. And thanks for sharing that because it's brave. It's not easy. It's not easy for
No.
it's not easy for us to tell our stories and like to talk about our struggles but that's real life, right? I mean, and that all that led you to where you are today. And that's an amazing story that you have.
Yes, thank you. I think we all have a story, and I was kind of excited to come to your podcast because they have featured us for certain things, and a lot of people know us from when we were successful in Progreso, but a lot of people don't know us through all those struggles that we went.
Mm-hmm.
That we went broke, and it's not easy to say it, but now I say it because to show people that you can do it. I mean, anything is possible. Like,
Sí se puede.
sí se puede, sí se puede. Empezamos no de nada, sino de menos, mucha deuda, pero con mucha fe, con mucha confianza, con mucha, echándole muchas ganas, as a teamwork. We worked as a family always. My daughters are still my biggest support, and my husband. I still have my daughters went through college, while we were struggling with this, they went through college, they graduated from college, they have their own successful jobs. And I still have my go-to whenever I need something like spell check, I go to one of them, Mitzi. She's really good. And then when I have to deal with something with workforce or answer alert or something, I go to Citlali. And then whenever it's that she still works with me with Roxy social media, now changing the menu. Now about this, she did the timeline. Like I really didn't even I don't even can see it because I don't have my glasses. And
I'm sorry
I
about
hope
that.
she's not gonna tell Mom you didn't talk about this. And I'm like, girl, it's 15 years. What do you want me to do?
There's a lot. Yeah.
There's
No, but
a
that's
lot,
the beauty
but
of it.
pero todavía tenemos más sueños, todavía tenemos que terminar nuestra expansión.
You're not done. Yeah.
No estamos terminando. Yo quiero abrir otro nanas. Through all this year, a lot of people have been telling me, when are you going to do one in Harlingen? When are you going to do some? Or they would tell me, you know what? If you had this same business in Minnesota, you would be rich. And I'm like, it's not easy.
Yeah.
They want to take me everywhere, to Canada, to this place, and I'm like, It's not easy. And
Because we don't know, you know.
I know. And
Si no sabe, no sabe.
no sabe,
right?
no sabe.
So,
In the original nanas, we had invested a lot. It's
yeah.
just, es como una pieza de artesanía itself. You know?
There's a lot of faith, too.
It's
and, yeah.
made, it's handmade. If you go around on the details, anyway, so we have become like a tourist spot.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel it, a touristic place. We hear a lot like, oh, my family comes from Dallas, they want to come to Nanas. Or my kids are back from college, they want to come to Nanas. And we had weddings. We had wedding proposals. I mean, ¿cómo se dice? Proposals. Baby showers, bridal showers. All kinds of celebrations there. Birthdays. Every single mariachi night is like 20 birthdays, 25 birthdays.
You had no
all
idea,
together.
right? Like when you started off.
Yeah, I had no idea.
This was necessity. Like you literally needed like something to survive, right? Like that's how it started.
Yeah. I didn't know not to think about our restaurant.
And 15 years later, somebody's proposing. Somebody's tia from Dallas is coming down.
Yeah, it's just been like a winter Texans. We have a lot. We're kind of like their. Well, I want to say a favorite stuff because we do have a lot. Because we do have a lot of winter Texan customers. So we have a high season when they're there. We try to put the music for them.
They're having a good time.
Yeah. Right now we're adding also ¿cómo se dice? Un salón de eventos. Un salón de eventos especial para todo eso. And I think my dream as starting in Nanas. As Nanas, how we started in somewhere else. That's my dream. Yeah. And I hope when I do it, because we're trying next year. I don't know. I mean, you always say and you don't know. But I hope my daughters take over. Because after all I've been through, you know, my health is not, I feel that it's not the same. I just want to take more care of myself because I have to. I'm still strong, right? Of course. And I love what to do. I love my job. You
can tell.
I love talking to the people.
Se nota.
I feel proud. Me siento orgullosa de estar ahí. Y mucha gente nos dice, son como un pedacito de México en el Valle. And I'm like, when they tell me that, I'm like, yes, that was my goal. Yeah. Showing our beautiful culture, you know, showing a beautiful culture here in the Valley. So a lot of people tell me that. Me siento como en San Miguel de Allende. Or you remind me of I don't know, this restaurant from San Antonio. They always compare me to some restaurant from San Antonio. I don't know. I mean,
the Margaritas or something? Oh, no.
I don't know.
On the Riverwalk or something?
I don't know. And they compare me to, I feel like I'm in, I don't know, Zacatecas in my hometown. And so...
It's a compliment. Those are all compliments.
That people to feel nostalgic when they're there.
Yeah.
Even on 16 de septiembre, because on 16 de septiembre... we did the whole ceremony. You know, we were picked by the consulate 2 years ago to do the actual ceremony there. So it was like, wow. Ceremony. Yeah, the official ceremony. So last year I said, okay, we have to have an official ceremony this year. So I went all the way. I had mariachi, I had folclórico, and I had los honores a la bandera. And then I have this nephew that she's an expert in Mexico. So I told her to do the whole protocol because I said, I need to have the whole thing. And, but I didn't, have to be very careful. It has to be done the way it is. And then she said, Tia, but the national anthem, the Mexican. And I said, you know what, mijita, I feel like no one is gonna no one is gonna sing it or something. Anyway, we did the national anthem, and my surprise was that everyone was singing and some people were tearing up. Yeah. And I'm like, it was like, wow, this was amazing because it was like transporting you from, to your hometown, to your parents, to Mexico, to the beautiful Mexico that a lot of us don't visit anymore, a lot of places because the way it is ahorita por la violencia. Entonces,
but they can go to you and they can feel it.
Well, I mean, it's just a little piece of Mexico. I'm not gonna say. I mean, it's just
it gives you chills, right?
Yes, it's just like a little piece of Mexico in the valley, and just we're not barely done with our expansion, but we're working on it, and hopefully in 2-3 months we're open already.
Wow. You know what, guys? When you go to Nana's Taqueria next time, when you look around and you see how like amazing it is, remember that anything's possible, right?
Yes,
Right.
anything's possible. I mean, I know that we went through struggles and we're there. Pero todo se
Yeah.
puede con fe, con echándole ganas,
Con credit cards.
con credit card ni me recuerdes.
But that's part of the story
Entonces
now.
sí, hemos tenido un gran equipo que nos ha ayudado siempre, our staff members that we had along the way, like beautiful staff members that, it's a team. It has to be a team.
It is.
It has to be a team.
Everything in life is teamwork.
Yes, and of course we're not perfect. We try to, and what we see right now is that customers are very demanding. Now they expect a lot from you. Everyone has social media.
The standards.
Yeah, the standards has to. If someone comes with the high standards, you have to be up there, and not anything would like ruin you, like the experience.
Because on social media, people talk, right?
Yes.
It spreads fast.
Yeah. Yes. And I feel like people like kind of like stricter on us. So please don't.
No, but
I know. I mean, local restaurants. I guess when people go to a restaurant and they know the owner is around, because I see it there in Nanas, they don't want to talk to the manager. They want to say, quiero hablar con el dueño. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I don't know. I've learned to manage that, because before that it would, it puts you down. A bad review puts you down, because you're like, oh my gosh, here I'm trying my best and I get all this but there's a lot more the good things than those little things. So I have learned that is not gonna, it's just gonna keep me stronger. And I said, okay, I have to fix this.
Keep going.
So I go back to hey, this is what people are saying. We need to fix this. We need to improve this. And we just try. And I know we can, sometimes it's hard to please everyone, but we try hard. I mean, we do our best. And, hungry people are sometimes hangry.
Oh, yeah. Well, somebody taught me that word. I guess I won't say who, but yeah, hey, that's a real thing. Being hangry is a real thing. It
Yes.
exists. No, well, I mean, honestly, not from the whole valley, thank you for telling us your story. You guys for that are listening, thank you for listening to Mr. Trevino's story. There's a lot of beauty in someone's journey, right? When you get to see and when you get to really like hear like what a person went through. I mean, whoever listened to this right now, you just inspired so many people. Take a look at it, guys. Take a look at her restaurant, and when you think about what you just listened to, si se puede, anything's possible. Even if it doesn't matter how you start or why you start, you can make things happen. She had no idea that people were going to be getting married there. It was literally necessity, but it turned into another gift, for the valley. So thank you for what you've done. It really is like a tourist destination. It really, that's why one of the reasons why I called you, I was like, I have to talk to her because I didn't even know who I was calling. I didn't know Miss Roxana Trevino, but I'm glad we made the call. Guys, we just met another member of the valley, Miss Roxana Trevino. So thank you, and tell your husband thank you also for what he's done for the valley. I hear he makes some pretty good food. So
yes, it's great.
Yeah, go try those. Go try some lunches out there.
Yes.
But anyway, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks, Miss Trevino, for being here.
No, thank you. You guys are doing an awesome, right? When I was listening to your podcast, I was like, wow, he's good. He's talented. We have talent in the valley.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Bringing people together.
Yes.
We're bringing the valley together one episode at a time. And we just made a new friend. So
yes,
of
course.
Thank you.
Course. Thank you so much.
You have a good day, okay?
You too.
Goodbye, everybody.